Hello and welcome to AirgunWeb.com and our series called Take Aim. When I first started shooting air guns, I purchased solely based on the velocity claims listed on the side of the box. And it took me a while to realize it, but I finally got it through my head that while speed is fun, accuracy is a lot more fun. With this in mind, we're going to take a look over the next few episodes of Take Aim at what options and accessories actually make a difference in accuracy. Because it's the most accurate airgun that I have in my current arsenal, we're going to be using the Hatsan BT65SB in .25 caliber. Let's go ahead and get started. The BT65 already performed extremely well in my first review, but I want to know, can we get more accuracy? In that video, I used a Leaper's UTG 3-12x44 SWAT scope with AccuShot rings. Now for the money, this is a pretty decent scope. But in the big picture of things, it's certainly not the highest quality scope we could put on this rifle. So this is going to be our first adjustment. I recently contacted Hawk Sport Optics about looking at some of their products. I've heard a lot of good things about their scopes, and I thought it was about time we took a serious look at what they had to offer. After a couple of emails with the folks over at Hawk, we came to the conclusion that the Sidewinder Tactical would be a great scope for this project. Now this scope comes in at about $420, so this is definitely a premium airgun optic. The Hawk Sidewinder Tactical comes with an impressive set of features. It is a side wheel parallax adjustable scope with a 42mm objective, 30mm tube, and a 4.5 to 14 times magnification range. It also has an illuminated etch glass half-mil dot reticle. The scope comes complete with a hardshell case, 4-inch sunshade, scope caps, and a 2-inch side wheel. Let's just say that this scope came ready to play. Rather than use inexpensive scope mounts, I decided to go ahead and use the higher quality BKL mounts. The main reason that I like BKL mounts is that regardless of the size of the rail, they are always perfectly centered in the receiver. Less expensive, universal mounts such as the UTG AccuShot mounts can actually cant one way or the other if the rail is not the perfect width. Generally speaking, this is not that much of an issue, especially if you're shooting at close range and at a fixed distance. But if you're looking to have reliable, consistent accuracy over a wider range of distances, then proper scope alignment is absolutely critical, and BKL mounts get that job done. The first thing I noticed as I began to set up and sighted the scope was that the eye relief was far more forgiving and was further back than other scopes I've used. For example, the Hawk has a 4-inch eye relief while the UTG has a 3-inch eye relief. This gives you more flexibility with the scope placement. The next thing that quite literally jumps out at you is the clarity of the sight picture. It's very hard to describe, but I'm going to try. With other parallax adjustable scopes, I've noticed that the center of the image may be clear, but as you move towards the edges, you can get some distortion of the image. This gets worse with higher magnification settings. The Hawk Sidewinder Tactical does not have this type of edge distortion. The sight picture is crystal clear at all ranges and magnification settings. You really don't realize how much this reduces eye strain and fatigue until you actually have a chance to experience it. As I mentioned earlier, this scope utilizes an etch glass illuminated half-mil dot reticle. This reticle is extremely fine and detailed with no fuzzy edges. The lines are very thin and well defined, and they do not obstruct the view of the target. The half-mil dot markings allow you to be more precise with your holdover or hold under, which should give you that advantage in the field. The red or green illumination has 5 levels of brightness each. It's very, very helpful when shooting in low light and at dark targets. Sighting in the scope was a breeze. The turrets are a push-pull type that are large and easy to adjust. Here's another area that was significantly different than other less expensive scopes that I've used. Most of the time, one click on the turret is equal to an arbitrary movement of the point of impact. For example, with other scopes, it may take 4 or 5 clicks before you see anything noticeable on paper. I found the adjustments on the Sidewinder Tactical to be far more precise and uniform. This made sighting in the scope a quick and very easy process. To make an adjustment, you simply pull up on the knob, turn it the desired number of clicks, and then push down on the knob which locks it back into place. There are big numbers and markings on the side of the turret which allow for adjustments in the field and a quick, easy return back to 0 when you're ready. Well, on paper, this new scope should make a noticeable improvement in the field. I plan to take our new rig down to the range and test it out to 100 yards, and then measure the results against my first video. From the preliminary testing I've done so far, I do believe you all will be very pleased with the results. So be sure to catch us next month as we spend some time on the range with the BT65 and our Hawk Sidewinder Tactical. We'll also be looking at Hawk software for range estimating in the field, so definitely stay tuned. Well, this wraps up another episode of Take Aim. I want to say a special thank you to Hawk Sport Optics for providing this great product for us to review and test. I also want to thank Pyramid Air for sponsoring our channel and this series. Be sure to visit my website, www.airgunweb.com, for a list of all the items we used in this video along with their related links. Until next time, this is Rick Utzer with AirgunWeb.com. Thanks again for watching.